The fleet of Southwest Airlines continues to grow and grow. We remember once upon a time when the carrier had around 737 aircraft, which we thought would have been a perfect fleet size. However, Southwest has since blown past that figure and has now topped 800. So while it remains a single-type fleet, there are still a few exciting developments going on with Southwest's collection of aircraft. Let's take a look at them. January 2023. This was the last time we had a look at the fleet of Southwest Airlines. At the time, the all-Boeing 737 carrier had 431 700s, 207 737-800s, and 142 737 MAX 8s, a total of 780 airframes. And now, according to planespotters.net, Southwest has 325 737-700s, 200-800s, and 277 MAX 8s, a total of 802 aircraft as of early September 2025. On the topic of date, the airline continues to accept more and more MAX 8s, and so there's a decent chance that the numbers will change by the time you watch this video. And speaking of change, what's different from January 2023? Well, we can see that Southwest has retired a whopping 106 -7s from service over that period of time. In terms of total 737-700 retirements for Southwest, 189 have left the fleet thus far. 2025 isn't over yet, but as of September 2nd, about 24 -700s have been retired. Most of these are marked as stored, although one jet retired in February 2025 was purchased by an unknown buyer for spare parts and has already been scrapped. We can also see that a firm by the name of Unical Aviation took a retired Southwest 737-700 in August 2025, also with the intention of using the airframe for spare parts. Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport, or BHM, seems to be Southwest's airport of choice when it comes to storing its retired 737-700s. As for the -800 fleet, it appears that the airline's rate of retirement for this variant is quite a bit slower. The airline had 207 airframes at the start of 2023 and has held on to 200 of these. Interestingly, Southwest has only ever retired 7 -800s thus far, with these airframes exiting the fleet between April 2024 and August 2025. Of the retired -800s, 2 have gone over to Saudi Arabian outfit Alula Aviation, while another has moved over to fly SAF Air of South Africa. Another jet went to fellow US airline Avelo. As for the other 3, they're currently marked as stored, but due to go to Brazilian airline Gol. Clearly, the -800s of Southwest still have value, both within the fleet and internationally. The airline has retired far fewer -800s compared to -700s, and all of the -800s that have been retired have been picked up by other operators and remain in service. In addition to the better per-seat economics of the -800, there's another reason why this variant is more in demand. When comparing the smaller -700 to the larger -800, the latter subfleet is much younger, with an average age of 10 years at present. The -700s at Southwest are close to double that, with an average age of 19.5 years. In the coming months, we should see more -800s retired as more MAX 8s roll off the assembly line. And so when it comes to the 737 MAX 8, CH Aviation data lists the carrier as expecting over 180 more of these newer generation aircraft. The airline is also expecting to take delivery of the MAX 7 and is listed as having ordered 286 of these jets. In spite of the protracted certification process that has delayed the Boeing 737 MAX 7 entry to service, Southwest Airlines has stuck by the side of its exclusive aircraft supplier. In recent statements from the executive-level leaders of the airline, the delivery rate of the MAX 8 and prospects for MAX 7 certification are both trending up. Southwest is one of the few customers of the MAX 7, but has ordered so many of these smaller variants that it still means big business for Boeing. The 737 MAX 7 and MAX 10 are equally impacted by the current certification delays, but Southwest only has commitments for the former. In more recent times, the CFM International LEAP 1B engines have experienced issues with anti-ice functions that caused overheating as well as inadvertent damage when load reduction devices or LRDs are triggered during bird strike incidents. The anti-ice mechanism caused overheating that was flagged by the Federal Aviation Administration and European Union Aviation Safety Agency. The LRD caused oil leaks in previous cases, both of which remain to be fixed before the 737-7 and 737-10 will be certified. All that to say that, despite a turbulent process, the latest and greatest short-cabin variant of the 737 series is almost over the finish line to full-rate production. During the Southwest Airlines 2025 second quarter earnings call, Chief Executive Officer Robert Jordan responded to questions with his outlook on the fleet modernization timeline, saying, "We're still expecting that MAX 7 certification sometime maybe first half of 2026, which would put entry into service for us at early to late in 2026. As for Southwest's undelivered MAX 8s, the FAA placed a cap on MAX production, and the FAA has no plans to reduce that oversight, as Reuters covered in a report earlier this year. Nonetheless, deliveries to Southwest increased by around 23% this year, even as every aircraft that rolls off the assembly line is inspected individually. The Chief Financial Officer of Southwest Airlines, Tom Doxey, reaffirmed that delivery assumptions for 2025 are up to 47 of the 737 MAX 8, in a clear sign that Boeing continues to ramp up production. Doxey adds that the carrier's ongoing effort to upgrade its collection of jets will also see the fleet grow in capacity overall at the same time, with an overall 1% growth expected in 2025. And so, while MAX 7 certification still has no definite timeline for completion, Southwest is publicly expressing confidence in Boeing that it will have the variant certified in the near future. And to wrap things up, there are two other interesting things to note about Southwest's Boeing 737s. The airline has begun flying its first MAX 8 equipped with a secondary cockpit barrier, a new security feature mandated by the FAA. The aircraft entered service on Friday, August 29th, and marked the first time the carrier had deployed the additional protective measure. A few months prior, Honeywell Aerospace, following pressure from Elliott Investment Management, announced that Southwest Airlines has chosen its Smart Runway and Smart Landing software to increase runway safety. The software is enabled via its Enhanced Ground Proximity Warning System, or EGPWS, which is already present on Southwest Airlines' Boeing 737 aircraft. So, what does Smart Runway and Smart Landing software do? Well, it stated that these systems help increase flight crew situational awareness during taxi, takeoff, and landing with aural and visual alerts. They also promote stabilized approaches, proactively notifying pilots when they are moving too fast, flying too high, or are directed toward the wrong runway. This claims to help break the chain of events that may lead to runway accidents. And so, while Southwest has a relatively boring fleet when it comes to type diversity, there's still a lot of change happening at the carrier. Hopefully, if and when we look at this fleet in 2027, it'll have at least some 737 MAX 7s in service. What do you think of the direction that Southwest is headed? Let us know by leaving a comment. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles and a podcast every week. Visit simpleflying.com.